Things you didn't know that you didn't know.
Well, this thing I didn't know must be good because the video's got 11 million views. And if it's on the internet, it must be true, so let's hear it.
Margarine was first invented in 1869. It didn't gain popularity until the Second World War, but by the 70s, the animal fats in it had been replaced with vegetable oils. They wanted to offer a lower cholesterol alternative.
Well, not entirely mind-boggling. That is true, I guess. Was there something else?
Now, Alzheimer's never existed until 1979, and yet now it is one of the leading causes of death in Western societies.
Why is it that people come up with the dumbest fucking shit to make margarine sound bad? I'm not saying it's good, but this is not okay. The first time Alzheimer's was observed in the way that we understand it today was in Frankfurt, Germany, in a 51-year-old female patient in 1901. Dr. Alzheimer, you know, the guy who discovered the disease, published his report on it in 1906. And it's likely existed in humans for much longer than that. It was just for the first time clinically described in 1906. So explain to me, if it was the subject of clinical diagnosis by 1906, how it didn't exist before 1979. Let me guess, there's more about margarine you'd like to tell us.
Margarine is one molecule away from being plastic.
It's starting to make sense now. You're doing your scientific research via Facebook meme. This is a myth. It is complete bullshit. Margarine is no more similar to plastic than any other naturally occurring fat, like the fat in your own body, or the fat in butter, which you keep touting is better than margarine because margarine's plastic. I mean, butter is better than margarine, but not because it's more similar to plastic, because they're equally similar to plastic, which is not at all. We are one DNA strand away from chimps. Hydrogen peroxide is one atom away from water. And both of those things, which are not really similar at all, are still more closely related than butter is to polymers like plastic.
Check your patient's medical records and see how many of your dementia and specifically Alzheimer's patients have been on statins and/or low cholesterol diets for many years.
So here you are trying to infer that low cholesterol diets increase the risk of Alzheimer's. It's funny because the Alzheimer's Society, you know, the society dedicated to reducing and treating Alzheimer's, says that high cholesterol actually increases your risk for Alzheimer's and statins reduce your risk of Alzheimer's by 15%. The National Institutes of Health say that there's no correlation between midlife cholesterol levels and Alzheimer's disease, and later in life, higher or lower levels of cholesterol can increase your risk for Alzheimer's. The University of Minnesota did happen to find a link between an ingredient in margarine and Alzheimer's disease, diacetyl, I think it's called, which is the compound that gives buttery flavored things like margarine their buttery flavor. But you know what makes butter taste like butter? Fucking diacetyl. So the increased risk of Alzheimer's you get from consuming margarine is the same risk you get from consuming anything butter flavored, including fucking butter. It's also in cheese, milk, yogurt, alcohol, vinegar, coffee. It's in lots of stuff. Sorry if I seem a little riled up about all this, but Alzheimer's is something that two of my great-grandmothers passed away from and my grandfather passed away from. It's something that I've personally lived through how devastating of a disease it can be, and something I'm horrified about more of my loved ones or myself getting. And misinformation like this is not only bad because it's misinformation that's easily debunked with a Google search, it's also bad because it's dangerous misinformation about people's health. Margarine can be a necessary, healthier alternative in some people's diets for people who struggle with high cholesterol and heart problems. And people are stupid and will listen to random dudes on the internet telling them that margarine will give them Alzheimer's, so they should eat butter over their doctor telling them that if they don't find healthier alternatives to butter, they're gonna have a fucking heart attack. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on this specific creator. His bio says he's homeless, and I'm not trying to direct all of this at him, but I'm using it as an example because he has a video with 11 million views exploiting a disease that destroys people's lives, destroys families, and peddling complete and utter misinformation about it, all to try to push his own personal conspiracy. And that's not okay. It's harmful, and lots of people do this, and nobody should. Not specifically this creator, just in general. Don't do this. It's harmful and it's hurtful, and everybody involved deserves better.